Once I booted High on Life and a little dot ran on the screen and the loading page showed Xenoslaughter 2, I had to check if I booted the right game. And as soon as I confirmed it was the right game, I knew this was going to be something special. There is no way in hell seeing a screen showing a pixelated first-person shooter that you have no idea what it is. I knew High on Life was going to be something special. I really hope you did not ignore High on Life because it was an absolute blast to play. Do you know what? There you go. High on Life was great. Like, share, and subscribe. But if you stick around in this video, I'm going to tell you why High on Life should be your next game to play and why it's an absolute blast, bursting with color and vibrance. Yeah. High on Life is made by Squanch Games, the people responsible for Trevor Saves the Universe. And it's also from the same guy, Justin Roiland, who brought us things like Rick and Morty, Solar Opposite, and a lot more. And High on Life has the same cutthroat humor we know from Rick and Morty and from his other shows. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people kind of avoided High on Life. A lot of people thought it was just going to be another slapstick humor, slapstick comedy with really no substance. Because no matter what, it's still a game. Gamers want to play a game. They're not ready to watch a house show with no gaming substance. And that is when High on Life flips it on its head. High on Life is a game that is bursting with so much gameplay and so much substance that to an extent, it really even doesn't even need the cutthroat humor. But the cutthroat humor is what complements the game. There's always this stigma when people jump in media terms, when people jump occupation. We all know how Spielberg and Guillermo del Toro have tried to cross into video games, but it just never works out because it's not like Guillermo del Toro and Spielberg are not good directors. The problem is that every occupation comes with its own occupational hazards, its problems, its challenges, and is that once you're not familiar with the industry, you will always have a problem trying to solve these things. So a lot of these people try to license out their properties. Okay, look, let's just give it to an established developer, let them deal with it. So when I saw Justin Roiland was setting up Squanch Games, I said, another guy is just going to come and waste his money. Well, in 3 years, they delivered Trevor Saves the Universe, and now they've delivered High on Life. And I'm telling you, these guys seem to know what they are doing. Yeah. I'm playing High on Life on the PC, it's 2070, and it runs really relatively smooth. 1080p. It suffers occasional pop-ins, some long load times between worlds, but it ran really, really smooth. And I want to tell you that High on Life was a blast to play. So I'm just going to give you the brief breakdown on what High on Life is. High on Life is basically a comedic first-person shooter with action adventure and Metroid Vania elements. It takes place in a science fiction world which features talking guns. Let me repeat that. Talking guns. These talking guns are called Gatlans, and you're going to use this, yes, I said it again, talking guns, to battle the G3 cartel leadership, to stop it from enslaving the human race, and basically save the world. You're silent, no talking bounty hunter, and so most of the dialogue is done by the Gatlans. First of all, you have your main Gatlan, which is Kenny. It's the first gun you get, and through this you navigate the world, fighting different enemies and just kicking ass. I really like when games go stylized. I really love it. Yes, I do like the realistic game. Yes, I'm a big God of War fan. Yes, I'm a big Last of Us fan. Yes, I'm a big Uncharted fan. But I love hyper stylized games. They burst with so much energy. They burst with so much personality. Especially when a game fully embraces it. Like, when I say a game like the new Sonic Frontiers, I haven't played it. But when I saw it, I just felt, you guys could have done more. Like, this is Sonic. It just felt like Sonic was put in a realistic open world. I like games that embrace their weirdness, if that is what the game is about. If you're going hard with your art style, whatever it is, just go hard on it. Believe in it. And I really enjoyed what High on Life does. It looks so great. And now we're going to give a dedicated video for the Gatlans. And here we have Kenny, Gus, Sweezy, Creature. Let's do it. And of course, Knifey. Knife is really fun. Just it doubles both as a knife and also as a hook style swing. Now let's talk about the Gatlans. The Gatlans are really cool and they are your main source of combat, and they oscillate between both combat and movement. In High on Life, all guns come with an auxiliary fire with special properties. We aid in both battle and navigation. On one point, Kenny shoots out goop-like substances which can serve as an explosion and can also serve as a way to bring down platforms for you. Iron Light gives the player enough tools in every gun to make each gunfight feel special and feel worthwhile. The gunplay in High on Life is very fast and smooth. You're zipping out of fights with ease. I wouldn't necessarily call it bullet hell, but it can get really intense. Yes, I know it's not the next big Doom or the next big bullet hell game, but it can be really, really fun. The same thing too with the navigation in High on Life. Every gun you receive, it gives you a new navigation opportunity because every gun comes with its own special navigation attributes. So that's what gives it its Metroidvania nature, because when you get a gun, a recently unexplored area, the gun opens it up for you. And that is what High on Life does. Every gun has the way it approaches movement. Kenny, when he shoots at his group-like substances, like I said, it opens up a platform. You have Gus, which is the talking shotgun, which was voiced by JB Smooth. Like, that was really, really cool. I like JB Smooth. You have Gus, which shoots out a disc, which you can use for as a platform to get to a higher point. You also have Creature. Creature shoots out little babies, and these babies can be used to be these babies can be used to open platforms. You can also use these babies as a way to control enemies. It just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Every gun in High on Life has its own customizable features in mod slots and packs you can install on the gun to make it different. Even these guns, they have some mod slots that can change the attribute of the gun completely. Gus has a mod slot that changes its suction property to give it a more armor stripping property. And the same thing too with Kenny. You have a mod slot that can take its auxiliary fire from a one single slime to a cluster of slimes. And all these things just give each gun its own way and its own approach, and it allows for a replayability because you have all these mods that you can still install that can still make the game really, really fun for you. High on Life lives and breathes with these guns, and I've never seen a game take something so looked over, because everybody just sees gun as just a means for battle, but High on Life literally gives all the personality to these guns, and it was the whole lot better for it. I enjoyed every single gun. I really wish Let's Do It was gotten a lot earlier, because besides being the final weapon you get, there isn't much use for it outside of that. So I would have liked if Let's Do It was gotten earlier, but even with all that, every gun in High on Life just felt perfect. I loved using every gun, and every gun had its use, so you would always cycle through your arsenal to make sure that you can access that next gun for that next fight, because all of them had what they were good at. I am going to say though, go into your settings and turn off the annoying settings for the guns. It can be really tiring hearing the same one-liners over and over again, especially from Kenny. Yeah, I get it, shoot me, but just to turn it off. It's not worth it. Also, guns have as a means for puzzle solving. A lot of the guns have where you can have little puzzles here and there that you can solve using the same gun. It's cool, nothing is overtly complicated, but they are nice little additions to the game and they are whole lot better for it. Another thing that High on Life does really well is boss fights. I was pleasantly surprised because when I saw the best boss fight in High on Life, there's always this use of when you see a game so colorful and so cute, you tend not to take it serious. You just be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let's just do it. But I'm telling you, they can get really intense if you don't pay attention, especially if you're playing on the hunter difficulty. If you don't pay attention, these guys are going to whoop your ass. It can really be fun, and they can range. A lot of these boss fights have multi-stage encounters where obviously there's a second health bar and all that with brand new moves and everything, and they were really really fun. I enjoyed every single boss fight. There was one that was so surprising that at the first instance you meet the boss just falls down and dies. I do really think we need to talk about the comedic nature on High on Life because it's one of its key factors. Of course, except with the guns. Like I said, please turn off that annoyance setting for all the guns because I'm telling you, they can drone on and it can be irritating sometimes. But JB's move gets me. He can talk all day. I'm fine with it. Now, one of the biggest problems I have with Justin Roiland is I've noticed his shows that don't have Dan Harmon. Now, I'm not saying that Harmon is the end all or be all, but I do notice the difference. I like Solar Opposites a lot, but I like when Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland tag team his shows. They make me laugh more than I'm supposed to. But shows and products that Justin Roiland does alone, if I let's put it away Solar Opposite, I do like Solar Opposite. But I've noticed that this game doesn't really make me laugh. I did cringe more than I laughed in High on Life. Most times I just get a chuckle or a little but it doesn't really make me laugh out loud. I don't have there isn't a lot of comedic nature to High on Life. Another thing I would also like Dan and Justin Roiland to look at is I think he needs to reduce the characters he voices. I get it. I think when he started his career, it was more about okay, how do we conserve cost and all that, but he doesn't have enough vocal range. Victory Parker, Seth MacFarlane, or even a Mike Judge. It just feels like every character he voices sounds like a variation of Rick and Morty. Even in shows like Solar Opposite, every character he voices just sounds like either Morty or Rick. I don't know if he's going for this, but it kind of rubs me off because I don't know. I just hear Rick in my brain every single time any character he's voicing talks. It's also the same thing too with even his very obscure characters in these shows that are supposed to be one-liners. They sound like another version of Rick. I have heard Justin Roiland on even the new Boys animated shorts, which was called Diabolical. Think so. And this voicing, they just all sound the same. I really don't know if that's the aesthetic he's going for to have a little bit of Rick or and Morty in every voice he puts out. But I just feel it belittles what Rick and Morty is and just makes it sound. It doesn't make characters unique. And that's one of the things that all these other voiceover actors have. Even someone like Seth MacFarlane juggling American Dad and Family Guy. Everything sounds unique in its own way. I think of all the characters Justin Roiland has voiced over the years, I think the most unique character would probably have to be Lemon Grab from Adventure Time. And it was really nice. It was something really different and it makes me remember the character so fondly. But I get it, he really complained about how the voicing was tough and that should be tough. It sounded like he was literally scratching his voice. I just think he just needs to reduce it. Reduce the characters he voices or try not to voice the main ones. It will give every character its uniqueness. Because every time Kenny talks, I just hear Morty. It's basically Morty. And I feel it belittles what Kenny was in the game. I really love when studios try new things. I just feel the industry thrives on it, and I love High on Life for what it is. It is new and it is an absolute blast to play. It doesn't reinvent the formula all that much. It's still a Metroidvania, it's still a shooter, but it has so much of its own elements bursting through the scenes that when you get going in the game, you never want to put it down. And for an Xbox Game Pass free, trust me, one more do you need? It's an absolute steal. And you know what? We'll say it. Xbox should snatch up Squanch Games because if they could put this out at their second try for a new studio, the sky is the limit for them. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.